From the campus of Glassboro High School in Glassboro, New Jersey, Channel 5 Sports presents Boys High School Football. Today, the Glassboro Bulldogs host the Schalick Cougars in a key Tri-County Conference matchup. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. Cool, crisp, sunny afternoon here on the campus of Glassboro High School. Two teams geared up for today's game. In many ways, they circled this game on their schedule. These teams were expected to be powerhouses coming into the season. It has proven to be even more the case than anyone would have anticipated. Schalick coming into this game, outscoring their opponent 188-8. Glassboro, no slouch themselves. This is going to be one of the better games you're going to see in Channel 5 Sports over the years. We can't wait for this one. First, let's talk Schalick Cougars. This is a Schalick team that is certainly on a roll.
Well, you know the two teams really don't like each other, even when the band isn't giving the other one any respect whatsoever. So you know this is a big rivalry. Schalick comes into this game, their defense has been outstanding. Rob. I mean, everyone's talking about the offense, and they put up some big numbers, but the defense, only giving up 8 points, has been just nothing short of superb. Now, you look at both teams and you say, where is the points going to come from? Well, for Schalick, it's Andrew Badger. This is a guy who I believe is a breakaway type player. They've had some really good running backs over the years, Kenny Bartsey, Paulie Gauze, who was a big name. But Badger's the type of guy, not only in the huddle because he gives a lot of leadership, but he also is doing a lot with his legs. 8 touchdowns this year. He has some nice numbers, but he'll really give you that pop in the middle. He's going to be able to break one to the outside. Won't be afraid to run in the middle of the defense, and he can do a lot of little things for your team.
For the Glassboro Bulldogs, the last time we had him here on Channel 5, another classic. It was against Paulsboro in the South Jersey Group 1 championship game, a game that ended with some controversy, a game that's really proven to be a motivator for this Glassboro team. They're going to work off of that, use that as a motivator, and they hope to use that in today's game.
Well, you can tell they still haven't wiped the bad taste out of their mouth from that loss, but this is a game where they can maybe get a little bit out of there, maybe a little swig of water, because that hurt them so badly, coming that close to a Group 1 championship and then getting it just so short really hurt them. But this is a big game, and it's a new year. They have a lot of new players on this team that come in, and they can kind of start writing their own history. A lot of young guys are coming in with not much experience, but Glassboro comes in looking at this game as they need to beat Schalick. If they want to be Classic Division champions, they know what they have to do on this field today. They have the quarterback to do that in Tim Haggerty. This is a guy over the last 3 seasons has controlled this offense. He's not a huge guy, as we've talked about many times, but he is a huge guy when it comes to the stats and getting the ball out to his receivers. His arm is outstanding. You can see he's really lifted weights and concentrated on getting better in the offseason. He's not only playing it on offense, he's now on defense. This is a guy in a big game. You want an experienced quarterback. You have to like going into this game with Tim Haggerty as your quarterback.
Well, there's a lot on the line in today's game, not only the Tri-County Championship, but also power points and, of course, seedings for the Group 1 playoffs. It's a windy day here at Glassboro, so this is a Schalick team that likes to throw the ball. It may affect them. Of course, both teams want to limit the mistakes. We'll have the opening kickoff for you after this on Channel 5. Welcome back to Glassboro High School, about to get underway.
Number 22, Eric Wilson.
Glassboro will receive.
For the Bulldogs, number 3, Uriah.
Kicking off will be Eric Wilson. And back to receive will be Stephen Davis for the Bulldogs. So a much awaited matchup between these two Group 1 powers. Couldn't ask for a better football day. A bit of wind blowing from right to left on your screen, and Wilson uses the wind to his advantage. It is returned, and on his feet, finally cut down at about the 17-yard line for the Bulldogs was Davis. And the Bulldogs, under the guidance of Tim Haggerty, will start on offense. Haggerty, 3-year starter, real true leader of this team, and both his football coach, Herm Nealio, and his basketball coach, Russ Winstead, said he is a coach on the field, knows just about as much as they do. And they really rely on that expertise, that sense of calm to guide their collective or respective teams. Haggerty's Hands it off inside, on his feet, pushing forward, and a nice pickup for Glassboro's Ralph Carr.
Yeah, and I like what Coach Neilio said. They're going to take a look here. Is right here. They're going to try to get that big offensive line moving, try to move some of the bigger defensive linemen. Schalick is pretty big up front. Nice job by Carr just staying on his feet and throws himself for an extra 2 or 3 yards.
Second down and short. Carr, your leading rusher for the Bulldogs this year, coming into the game, 427 yards. So Haggerty guiding the offense, and again, will hand it inside, and this will be more than enough for the first down. It looked to be Gadsden. Gadsden with 5 rushing TDs.
Yeah, he's a big name there, big number 26. It looks like he might even grew an inch or 2. There you see Coach Neilio. He kind of joked with us. It's like, yeah, Coach Haggerty's on the field, but even now on defense, and him playing defense, that can be at a disadvantage sometimes when you really can read and see a quarterback and know what's going on. Sometimes you might over-pursue a play. But Haggerty has really done a fantastic job, not only offensively, but now defensively as well.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Again, the handoff and a big hit laid out as Ralph Carr may not have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Watch Badger on this play, linebacker, fill this hole. He's just going to come up and stick his helmet right into that hole, make sure that he squares up, gets a hold of Carr. A couple of his friends come out and help out on the play, but Badger will come up and make a stick on you. This defense has been outstanding. You look at that linebacker play and also the safety, Badger in the back.
Glassboro throwing into the wind. Haggerty back to pass, setting up the screen. He has the screen set, and a pickup of about 4 or 5 will bring up a long 3rd down. Carr, the receiver on the play, so Glassboro facing a key 3rd down here.
Yeah, these guys are coming out hitting right from the get-go, and you expected a very physical game. Both teams playing with a lot of emotion. You're right, Rob. When they saw this matchup, you circle it. This is the one that everyone circles. You take a peek at it and say this could decide the Classic Division, barring any team coming up with a huge year.
So 3rd down for Haggerty out of the I formation, and he'll hand it off, and nothing doing there. So Schalick's defense comes up big, stopping Carr on the 3rd down, and perhaps some reticence about putting the ball in the air with that brisk wind.
It was blowing even harder yesterday. I'd say during this time yesterday, it was blowing close to 20 to 30 miles an hour. It would have really caused some problems. It's died down a little bit, but you would expect that the passing game would be altered, and especially the punting game.
So Glassboro will punt it away for the first time, and a punt short and strangely played by Jeremy Simpkins. He first tried to get it, then tried to get out of the way of it, then held on to it, and here it is.
Hey, watch this. You're right, Rob. He comes up. He's thinking about making the play. All of a sudden, he says, no, better not do it. In fact, get away from it, and it comes right up into his right arm. He's lucky that got a good bounce to him.
That field is very soft due to last evening's rain, and that certainly helped Simpkins in that situation. So 8:47 left, and Schalick with the football for the first time this afternoon, and it'll be Badger right away, and Badger cut down in the backfield. So this Schalick defense, quite vaunted, but as we mentioned in the open, Glassboro also very strong defensively.
Watch Corey James come flying through here. This is 6 newcomers up front for Glassboro. 2 linebackers, Carr moving from the cornerback position to come into linebacker, and Corey James knifing through that offensive line, number 20, just a junior fullback linebacker, 5'9", 172.
I formation for the Cougars. And back to pass is Breaker. Breaker throws it out, has a man, and this will be for more than enough for the first down. He hits Tim Breaker. Breaker, 1-9.
It was actually Breaker 2-3, but
I knew that was coming.
you see Breaker roll out, going to find Timmy Breaker. He's going to turn it upfield. And watch how he doesn't decide to go out of bounds. He's going to try to display a little punishment himself.
Well, Justin Breaker, one of the premier passers in South Jersey this season, he has really had himself quite a year. And with the wind to his back, not afraid to put the ball up.
And yeah, this game means a great deal to the Breaker brothers. They were transfers from Glassboro High School, so they'd be wearing maroon and gold instead. They donning the Schalick colors. They have transferred and now become a huge part of Schalick's success this season.
Justin Breaker, the quarterback, just a junior, 6 foot 170. His brother Tim Breaker, a sophomore at 5'8", 155. Justin, as we mentioned, very successful this year, helming the quarterback position. 12 touchdown passes already. Second down. We'll call it 6. High formation for Breaker again. Play action, rolls out, and has a man right on the money, finding Matt Cates. And here early, Shawn, Breaker has been very impressive.
Well, you can see why this guy has been touted as one of the best young quarterbacks right now. He's just a junior, going to have another year to work on his arm strength, but it's already there. You can see him fire this ball out. Great precision. Gets it exactly where you want to if you're the coach. You want him to stick that ball right into the gut of the receiver, let him turn upfield, gain some extra yardage. Breaker looks sharp early on.
Hand off to Badger. Badger thrown down, maybe one at most. Shawn, when we were down on the field in the pregame, oftentimes we're down there watching the quarterback throw the football, and frankly, some of the quarterback's arm strength quite dubious, but I was very impressed with Breaker's arm strength when we were down there.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, he's only going to get bigger, stronger, faster as he gets older and develops into a more mature quarterback. So it's just his junior year, and he's already put up some gaudy numbers, and you can see his arm strength is nice. When you get that 15-yard out and he can fire that ball out there, you have a lot of confidence in calling those plays, and it gives you a balanced attack.
Second down. Breaker again with time, has a man wide open and just off of the fingertips of Jeremy Simpkins. But again, that's indicative of the arm strength we just mentioned.
And you can see where the ball was placed. You know, he doesn't make too many mistakes back there. He's got a good live arm. But the thing is, he makes decisions well. He reads the defense well, and he puts the ball in position where you want it. I mean, that's when you have that. You have that on both sides of the ball. We're going to not only see from Breaker, but Haggerty as well. Both these guys very precise with the football and make good decisions.
Very soft coverage in that Glassboro secondary, giving Simpkins a lot of room, and again, just out of his outstretched arm. So a third down and long here, and it's going to go to Badger. Badger cut down. Bit of a surprise on the long third down, maybe trying to...
Well, I think in this spot right now, and you look at this game over the last couple of years, it's been field position and big plays. And for Schalick, they just say, listen, we can pin these guys back. We still have the win. Let's try and, you know, be a little conservative here, not make a mistake. And that's the only reason I would say they're going to the ground there. Maybe you catch Glassboro off guard.
Well, fourth down, and ball at the 38, so you may see a fake punt here. It's punted away. This by Shamar Brown. He will angle it to the sidelines, and he'll get it out at about the 17. We'll step away with 5:37 left. Glassboro, Schalick, scoreless. Welcome back to Glassboro High School. 5:37 remaining in this first quarter. Each team with one drive coming up empty, and Glassboro will take over again deep in their own end, each time getting the football inside their 20-yard line. So Schalick obviously the better of the field position here early, and with the wind in their face, Glassboro a little bit restricted in their play calling.
Well, you'd think that, but you know, Haggerty does have a pretty good arm. The wind's blowing, but not that badly. I mean, right now it's not blowing too bad, so I wouldn't say that Glassboro is confined to what they have to do here. They might be able to put the ball in the air and feel confident in Haggerty.
Haggerty, quick drop. Again, the screen pass and cut down. And down, and looks like he is hurt, is Ralph Carr. So that may have actually been a lateral, but nonetheless, this was a hit right around the knee of Carr.
Yeah, and this doesn't look good. I mean, he looks like he's in pretty bad pain. They're calling some people over right away. Carr's just going to get cut down here. They're trying to go left, right, and that, I think it's his ankle right there. Looks like it might have got rolled up on. Right here, you're going to see, watch that left ankle. He plants it. Plants the right. It might have got just rolled up right underneath.
Yeah.
Anybody who's twisted their ankle or done something to their ankle knows that pain.
Well, we mentioned before, Ralph Carr, the leading rusher for the Bulldogs coming into today. Now, on the one hand, Glassboro with a three-pronged attack in Carr, Gadsden, and Davis, but obviously that would be a big blow, losing your leading rusher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just you can see right now the sideline looking on with
Going to the sideline. This might be
tremendous
bad.
caution, just wondering what's going on with one of their leaders out there. Carr, this is, I mean, they're bringing both teams off the field, so you know this isn't a pretty injury. This is something where probably he's coming out of the game.
With the injury on the field, we'll step away. 4:50 remaining. First quarter, scoreless at Glassboro. Welcome back to Glassboro High School. Ralph Carr has been taken off the field.
And we thought it was his ankle or leg. It must have been his arm where it snaps. You can see it right behind him, right behind his back where he tries to put it back. It snaps backward here. An injury to the left arm. He was in a lot of pain. We wish him the best because you know he's going to have a little bit of a recovery there.
ZT438. Please move your car immediately.
They're going to try to get the ambulance in here to take him. Go get some x-rays, I'm sure.
Well, he's obviously heartbroken. This is a game that he, along with his teammates, have looked forward to for some time. And not only will he not be able to take part in it, he won't be able to watch it.
No, I mean, not only that. I mean, you think of what this injury could be, and right now that
Haggerty gonna go deep as a man, and good coverage there as the ball was just a little bit underthrown. Timmy Breaker able to knock it down. And
I mean, you're probably thinking right now with Carr, he's probably thinking about the playoffs and all that other stuff he may miss. But right now, Haggerty and his teammates have to try and just think about the game and concentrate on getting a win here. They're going to try to go deep. You can see the arm strength of Haggerty going through that wind. Not afraid to throw it up that time for Akamoju. And this guy has been nothing short of spectacular through the first 6 games of the season.
Glassboro again forced to punt it away. Angling towards the sideline, and a relatively short punt. Simpkins able to return it to very good field position for the Cougars. So Schalick again will take possession in Glassboro's end.
A great field position for Schalick, and that's what you expect, is to have you know, that field position battle, because you know that's what type of game this is going to be, where both teams are going to jockey for the field position. You already saw Schalick on the 3rd and long, just making sure that they are able to get that punt down there and keep Glassboro pinned back. Both teams having a lot of confidence in their defense.
31-yard line of Glassboro is where Schalick will take over, and they will hand it off, and a short pickup for Kyle Cullen. Cullen, a junior, just 5'6" in that backfield.
And you know what's going through his mind right now. Neilio looking on, and yeah, he's got to coach a football game, but he's thinking, wow, I just lost one of my top players, both on offense and defense. We got to try and make up for that some way. There's going to be a lot of leaders now in that Glassboro huddles on both sides, where they're going to have to try to inspire each other to play a little bit better football than they already were playing.
We've talked about Carr's influence on the offense, but as you mentioned, defensively, very, very big. And a mix-up here. This play's going to come back, but this Glassboro defensive line already banged up, a little bit shy in terms of personnel, and now the defense is going to be even more short without Carr.
It's going to move him back a little bit. But you're right. I mean, Carr, again, not only what he did defensively by moving the cornerback to linebacker, but moving that transition, having 6 guys in new positions up front. They still had, a lot of
legal shift.
Let's get the call here. Legal shift for Schalick. They still had a lot of confidence in him, saying, all right, well, at least we have a guy who's experienced. He's been there defensively. He's played for the last couple of years, and they put him at linebacker, and he was doing a pretty good job for them.
That'll back him up to about the 34. So second down, about 13 now for the Cougars. Play action, Breaker has a man, throws him another fastball, and I think we're going to have a roughing the passer call go against Donald Davis.
Yeah, a horrible break for Glassboro there. You got to really think about what you're doing. You have him pinned back. Third down, and Rob, you have a penalty like that, that's going to give him a first down. That's the type of mistakes that Glassboro has made through the season that hasn't really hurt them too much. They've had the penalties, but they've dominated their opponents in most other areas of the game that it didn't much matter. In a game like this, you can't make mistakes like that if you're going to come out with a W.
That's exactly right. Let's get the call. Personal foul, roughing the passer, as we mentioned. Herb Melio said that, here we go down to the right.
Roughing the passer, automatic first down.
But he said his team has made just far too many mistakes. We cannot have those type of mistakes. Have not turned the ball over a great deal. But again, this creates a situation where you have third down, and certainly a tough spot for Schalick into great field position, a first down, and really changes the momentum.
You can't give a team like Schalick new life because they will make you pay. There's too many good weapons on this offense.
After placing the ball
3:26.
It is first and 10 Cougars.
Breaker hands off the Badger. Badger through, saw a seam, and picked up 3 or 4 there.
Yeah, Corey James so far has come out, made a couple of nice plays from that linebacking spot. Again, going to try to get that ball in the midsection of Badger and let him try to find a hole. Wasn't much there. He was able to get a couple of yards. But that's where Badger, we talked about this in the open, where he's a tough runner, not only when he gets a little bit of a breakaway threat to the outside, but he's also a guy that'll try to hit you up the middle and not afraid of the contact.
One of the things Glassboro wants to do here is not only hold them scoreless, but also, should they yield a touchdown, have them use as much clock as possible so they can get the win to their back. They're successful again as nothing doing, and the clock continues to tick about 2:25 or so they won't get another play until under the 2-minute mark.
What's an effort defensively by this team? I mean, they're just gang tackling the ball, going after, trying to strip it out of there, and that's good heads-up play there. And that's what you want to do. When you get in traffic, you get a couple of guys there helping you out. Defensively, you want to try to go for the strip, and you're taught that once you get hung up, go for the football.
Big third down play here, 1:55 remaining for the Cougars. And the play action Breaker sprints out, has a man in the flat. It's Badger. Badger towards the sideline, cut down at about the 2. More than enough for the first down.
Yeah, you give him a chance to square up his shoulders. And again, watch where Breaker puts his football. This is a guy who's really matured into a nice quarterback. Flips it out there, able to get him turned around where he gets the ball and moves it out. Squares up the shoulders, turns upfield, gets the first down. Now they're knocking on the door. Think back to that penalty, how crucial that was on that third down where you get the roughing the passer, gives Schalick new life. And remember, this is a team with too many weapons. You can't give them second life. Same thing on the opposite side of the football. You don't want to give Glassboro an extra set of downs.
1:49 remaining in the first quarter. Schalick driving, first down and goal. Handoff, Badger, Badger, cut down, touchdown. Andrew Badger strikes first. Schalick on top, 6-0.
The Schalick offensive line, very powerful, big up front. One of the things that concerned Coach Herb Nealio coming into this game is how they played up front defensively last week against Gloucester. Gloucester not the same team that you've seen over the last 10 or 15 years. Still, Glassboro giving up huge chunks of yardage last week, especially on the ground. That defensive line did not play well. He was concerned about how they would respond this week against Schalick. Schalick showing that offensive line, give them a little bit of a break. They're going to be able to hurt you.
Eric Wilson's extra point is good, and Schalick has taken a 7-0 lead with 1:44 remaining here in this first quarter.
Bunch of big boys up front, get the surge going. You get Badger, he's going to be hit, spins through. He knows where that white chalk line is. Able to get the football over and give Schalick the early lead. Field position, huge early in this game. Schalick playing that battle and winning it earlier.
Really the key play of that drive, the roughing the passer call.
Huge.
And that gave Schalick a big first down. It allowed them to...
In my opinion, Rob, I'm sorry, that's a 6-point penalty right there, or 7-point penalty.
And maybe even more, because had Schalick been backed up, even if they continue that drive, they probably do not finish up the drive until the end of the quarter. This allows Schalick to kick the ball off with the wind to their back, giving them a decided advantage because there is a brisk wind blowing.
I think you were calling for the sun when we got up there. Have you changed your mind?
Sun right in our eyes here in the press box. Wilson will kick it away, and it's relatively short. Short hop, picked up. Good return for the Bulldogs. Running into some traffic, but the best field position of the day here for the Bulldogs as Davis returns it to the 35-yard line, and Haggerty will take the snaps with 1:35 left still in this first quarter.
Yeah, sun's out. It's heated up a little bit here. I mean, this is the day I was looking at. Got home a little later than usual last night. Had some family up. About 3 o'clock. They said it was 43 degrees. 43. That's kind of cold.
I formation. Haggerty on the option. Keeps, cuts it back inside. Haggerty still on his feet, reaches out. That ball was...
Yeah. He just reached out, tried to get extra yards. You got to be careful with that.
Absolutely. That's a dangerous play because, of course, in the pros and in college now, they have instant replay. Kind of rolling the dice a little bit here with the referees. You never know whether or not they have a good vantage point, but nonetheless, Haggerty reaching out for that extra yard, and that'll bring up a short second down with about a minute left in the first quarter.
Well, Coach Haggerty would say not to do that, but the player, Haggerty, trying to get every yard that he can.
And thrown down, and we're going to have a penalty flag here as Davis is thrown down violently, and it's going to be a face mask against Schalick.
That's DeFalco. DeFalco has probably been the biggest surprise for Schalick.
Got a face mask on the defense. 15 yards.
There's a little pitch out to the side where you get it in Stephen Davis's hands. I guess he got him with that left hand.
Oh, he got it.
No, I don't know. I mean,
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Right there, you can definitely tell.
That's a good call by the referee. And now Schalick trades personal fouls.
Yep, we'll see how that
Glassboro
starts.
into Schalick territory with 45 seconds remaining. And Haggerty will eat up some clock. Probably run the ball here, will the Bulldogs. They do inside. And once again, it's going to be Davis.
Davis on the carry.
Nice surge that time by the offensive line. Davis taking full advantage of it, picking up about 4 or 5 yards. And you're okay with that. If you can do that 3 straight times, you're picking up first downs. Thing is you got a pretty good Schalick defense. It's pretty hard to pick up 4 or 5 yards each play.
They're just going to simply let the clock wind down and then get the wind to their back. I think that will allow this Glassboro offense to open things up. Schalick using the wind to their advantage in the first quarter. They jumped out on top 7-0, and that's where we are as we end the first quarter. We head to break with the Cougars on top.
0 at this time. Glassboro High School would like to welcome.
Really.
Well, welcome back, Glassboro High School. Second quarter, Schalick on top 7-0. And Glassboro driving the football. Second down at about 6 for the Dogs. Handoff, cutting it outside, and a whole lot of trouble there for Davis as he felt the surge and tried to cut it outside, but that was a big mistake as it went more and more towards Glassboro's own end, and now from a short second it becomes a very, very long third down.
Well, I tell you, you might have been able to do this against Clayton, Gloucester, some of the teams that have struggled in the Classic Division. You can't do this against Schalick. You can't go east and west. You're not going to be able to outrun this team. They have too much speed on both sides of the ball. It's really hard to get east and west. You have to try to go straight up ahead. You got to know when to fold them, as Kenny Rogers once said. You got to make sure you pick and choose your spots.
Haggerty in a whole lot of trouble, throws it up, almost picked off by Badger. So Haggerty making a poor decision there to try to hit his man. Would have been better just throwing it to the sideline, but a bit of a break for the Bulldogs, and from what looked to be a good, promising drive, the Bulldogs forced to punt it away.
Well, here, let me break something down. In this game, when you have two teams who are as equal as these two teams are, that's why everything is so magnified. Schalick, remember on that 3rd and long, they just play conservative, they punt the ball away, they get good field position when they back Glassboro up. They make 6 points out of that play, out of that decision.
No line drive, Simpkins will take it at the 10. Simpkins on the outside across the 20, and he'll be knocked out at about the 27-yard line. A low line drive, and Simpkins does a nice job returning the ball for the Cougars.
So Schalick makes the good decision. They get 7 points from it. Glassboro just made 2 poor decisions. If Haggerty gets that ball picked, the wind now doesn't become a factor for you. At least if they punt the ball, they're going to back Schalick up. It limits what Schalick can do offensively, and Glassboro now can work on field position for them. But those are the type of mistakes that you see from a team. They're usually on the losing side in a game like this. This is a huge game. You got to kind of pick and choose your spots and not be afraid to take a loss on a play, but don't make the big mistake.
Hand off to Shamar Brown. Brown around the end, and he'll pick up about 5.
Watch number 56 here. That's Jamie Ray's the 3rd. Now he's going to try to, he's getting to the ball carrier any way he has to, even if it means hurdling 1 or 2 of the Schalick players. This time he's just going to try to get up over the guy. He doesn't actually clear him. So imagine this big guy, Reyes, who's 5'8", 242 pounds, coming up onto your back. Needless to say, the Schalick defender was picking himself up out of the dirt.
Badger still pushing forward. Badger still on his feet, driving, and more than enough for the first down. Badger, 6 foot, 180 pounds, and showing off his work in the weight room.
Yeah, did I say this kid's not afraid of the contact? Watch him here. Bang, right through there. Goes head-to-head with Akinmoju, gets a little bit of a push. And now you have a couple other bigger guys coming in, try and help things out. This looks like a rugby pile at the end of that play. Akinmoju, not a little guy either, 6'1", 192.
Well, he's the only returning starter for the Bulldogs basketball team. So he'll play a major role on the Bulldogs on the hoop. Pitch to Badger. Badger to the outside, and again, Badger very close to a first down. And all of a sudden, Schalick's offensive line starting to flex their muscles.
And that's a huge concern for Glassboro. But you're right, Badger's starting to turn it on now, and that offensive line is starting to seal some corners for you, get some push up the middle, and that's not a good sign for Glassboro. Concerned about that defensive front and how they'd match up with a big Schalick offensive line. So far, you have to give the advantage to the Cougars. Glassboro has to use its speed, getting to the football and making the tackle. They have to be able to tackle.
Breaker swings it out to Shamar Brown, and Brown in the flat, cut down.
Yep, that's
now we have a late hit here, maybe even a clip on Danny Bimiani. So this is one of those plays where, as a coach, you just shake your head because the play's already over, and now it's coming back.
Yeah, and he's going to try to come in and make a late block, but that's the call. It was a late block. He's going to get flagged 15 yards.
And Bimiani pleading his case to the coaching staff, but they don't want to hear any of it.
Bimiani coming from the backside. Good shot by the camera.
Brown's already on his feet when that block comes in.
Dead ball, personal foul. On the offense, still going to have a first down.
That's after the play, so they'll have a first down, but that backs them up now, 15 yards. That was a Bimiani on Corey James. Corey James didn't even know that Bimiani was behind him. But again, that is after the play, post-possession or post-play foul. You're going to get 15 yards, but still a first down for Schalick.
Well, what I don't understand is why it's not first down and 35, because they have the markers lined up where the ball spotted. It's post-possession. Shouldn't it be a first down and 30, or excuse me, 25?
No, because they got the first down there, so it comes back first and 10.
Yeah, but if it's first and 10 at that spot.
Don't argue with me.
Well, we have an official up here. We'll get his input on our first break.
Chug's even on the sideline. He's thinking like you are right now. He's wondering what's going on.
Well, then we're in big trouble. Glassboro pumped up off of that late hit. Corey James, who took the hit before, comes in and lays out a lick.
You understand that?
What's number 20 here?
As I mentioned, Corey James.
Corey James. He's just going to grab everybody.
That's, you know what that is? That's a hernia right there.
That's a hernia. I'll tell you what, if I'm the wrestling coach, I'm looking at that and thinking, I'm signing this guy on the dotted line as soon as the game's over.
Or the local fire company. Second down. High formation for Breaker and the Cougars. Sun peeks out once again, and we've got trouble. So, Cougars starting to shoot themselves in the feet.
Little movement here. Yep. Quick little reaction there from the end. It's close.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense.
Maybe take a look at the ball. Yep.
Interesting.
Look at the ball there. I don't know if you were able to get a shot of that at home, but the center moved the football. Watch the football here if we can get it here with the center. See him right here. He's going to move it. And then goes. Good job by our truck spotting that out. Truck's on its toes today.
Our director, Stan Ritter, with the eagle eye.
No flat tires in that truck right now.
And there's gasoline today. Second down. Breaker hands off to Brown. Brown dancing through the line, and he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, bringing up a long third down for the Cougars as we approach 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, listen,
first half.
I'm going to give Corey James a shout out right now. This kid is playing outstanding. He's coming up making some huge plays, and he just saw his linebacking partner Ralph Carr leave with the injury, and he still continued to push. Have a tremendous amount of success coming up filling holes. Corey James, not a big kid at all. I mean, this is a kid who's 11th grader, 5'9", again, 172, but playing that linebacking spot as good as you can play it so far in this first half.
Out of the shotgun, Breaker will roll left, dumps it. Badger cut down, and he'll be just shy of the first down. He gets a pretty good spot here.
That's gonna give Coach Seth Brown a real good look at it from that side, but he may go for it here. This play's working extremely well. They're just getting Badger rolling out with Breaker. Great spot. We've seen a couple of just nice passes. See where that spot is pretty good. That is just a nice job by Badger. You can see he's short of that first down, at least where he landed. I'm going to give him a little bit better spot than what he deserved. But how about the job of just throwing himself forward at the end of that play to get himself close, and now force Seth Brown with a decision here.
Well, I got to believe he's going to go for it here. You find your biggest offensive lineman and you let Breaker just run behind him. So they will go for it on 4th down. Clock stopped currently at 7:25. They'll restart that once they reset.
And they might get behind Colin Dwyer and Travis Snodgrass. You got to love the name Snodgrass if you're a lineman. Sounds like a lineman. That guy's not going to be afraid to get dirty. Snodgrass. Go behind him.
Breaker on 4th down. In motion, the other Breaker, and inside. More than enough for the first down. So the Cougars will continue this drive.
Yeah, they hit him hard, but not until after he picked up the first down. The initial surge got him about 2 yards, and Glassboro threw him back after that. Now, real important right now is what Schalick's doing with the clock. 7:13, Glassboro with the wind advantage with it at its back, but they can't move the football or get the football back. So, that's a big deal for Schalick, just to hold on to the football and use much of the second quarter with possession.
Again, inside handoff, about 4 or 5. And you make a very good point, Shawn. I mean, by Schalick continuing possession, continuing to wear down that Glassboro defense, and as importantly, Glassboro with a potent offense, you can't score if you're not on the field.
Yeah, you want to keep the ball out of Haggerty's hands because he's worked some magic over this season. All you need is one big play to Mojo, or try to get the ball with Gadsden up the middle with a quick burst, and they can score in a hurry. They've been doing that throughout the season.
2nd down, it's Badger. Badger around the end, and Badger drives forward and finally out of bounds. Believe enough for the first down.
Poor angles and poor tackling this time by Glassboro. They're just, seems like they're starting to wear down a little bit. And again, just poor angle here. Not able to make the play on the outside is Mojo. Badger, again, throwing that 180 pounds around, but he runs a lot harder than that.
Ball placed at the 37, 3rd and 2.
So Badger, in fact, was short of the first down. Clock stops at 6:15, and Breaker under center. As Shamar Brown split right, and in motion, it's his brother Timmy Breaker. And big hit laid out at the line of scrimmage, but I think that Schalick line with enough of a surge to give the Cougars a first down.
Right now, eating the clock, turning the battle of field position in their favor. The Cougars, right now, so far in this first half, haven't dominated. They certainly have the advantage not only in the scoreboard, but on the field. Offensive line is doing a pretty good job. The Glassboro is just going to need, somebody's going to need to make a play. And that momentum type hit.
No turnovers thus far. Breaker throws it up. It's a prayer, and it hits Badger. The prayer is answered as soft coverage allows Badger to run underneath it. Haggerty finally cutting him down, but a big pickup as it looked like a blind pass that had no shot, but nobody there but Andrew Badger.
Right, this looks like it could be a mistake. Good pressure coming up front. He's just going to lay it out there, knowing exactly where his man's going to be. Lets him run underneath the football. Badger goes and gets it in front of opposing quarterback Tim Haggerty. Haggerty just kind of stood there looking on like, I can't believe they just made that connection. Again, Glassboro now on its heels. A big play, good change of momentum, and they certainly need it at this point.
And a big hit laid out by Glassboro's Laverne Harris.
Well, Laverne surely put him down on the ground. Nice play.
Very nice.
Through the defense and being able to come up with that play that I'm talking about, that big hit that you're going to need to come through and put him down.
That may be one of the better ones over the years that you've had.
Instant classic.
It's very good. Instant classic, that's right. Laverne surely put him down.
Well, if you say enough stupid things, one eventually might be funny.
I can't top that. I'm not going to try. Clock still ticking. 4:45 left, and Badger on the sweep.
They wanted to hold.
Now a late penalty, and finally, that was one heck of a late flag.
Yeah, it sure was. You can see, I mean, it was a good call. The hold was certainly there. I think a couple people actually had the holds. There was a hold on Gadsden, then a hold on the outside. Maybe the flag got kind of stuck, but that was a late flag.
Repeat, second down.
But you see what quickness, penetration, and going to the football will do for you. It forces the team into making mistakes. I mean, Schalick was lucky enough where Glassboro did put some pressure on Breaker a few plays ago. He throws up the prayer, and that's a place where you might see an interception or a big play for Glassboro. But the pressure was established. Laverne Harris comes flying in, makes a nice play, and then you get good penetration there and a hold, and that forces Schalick back.
So Schalick will look to continue this drive. Breaker with the coverage downfield, but more importantly, the surge of the defensive line of Glassboro just consuming Breaker, and all of a sudden it's Schalick heading in the wrong direction.
Well, Double D, Donald Davis, the third, made a big mistake on that other possession where he had the late hit. This time he comes pushing through that defense, a huge play. See how that momentum turns for a team? You have a nice hit by Laverne Harris, who comes in, makes a play. Your team starts feeding off that. You see it in high school football all the time.
3rd and 30.
Third down and a long way to go. Breaker again getting some backside pressure, sets up a screen, and it's going to be Badger. Badger, and cut down.
That is a nice play by Mojo. What an outstanding play by him. Sheds off the blocker and is going to make the tackle here. And that's just a nice play. You know what? I was thinking too. Glassboro right now, this is a terrific play call by Seth Brown. Glassboro's fired up. The fans are getting excited. So what do? You use that aggression against them. Let them come firing through. Get the screen out there, and just a nice play by Mojo, who made the play and maybe saved what could have been either a touchdown or a first down.
Well, remember, this football was at the 17-yard line, 1st and 10. Now they're faced to punt it away, are the Cougars. They're going to look to run as much clock as possible before they do so. As we approach the 3-minute mark here, Schalick on top 7-0. They will take the delay of game penalty.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit more of a room here. Good decision by the Schalick coaching staff, who over the last few years really made a huge name for itself with Josh Hedgeman, who's going to be getting his master's degree in May. And we talked a little bit to Coach Collins before the game. He says he's getting a little bit of an itch to come back and maybe do some coaching again. But Seth Brown has taken over for Josh Hedgeman, and he didn't skip a beat. I mean, Hedgeman, kind of a la Clyde Folsom, made the Schalick program. They had the athletes there, they said, but he just molded them into a very good team. But now you have Seth Brown, who's doing a good job.
Hey Stan, you mentioned back focus.
Take a look back. Yeah, this was the big blow in the game. I mean, this is Ralph Carr, one of the Glassboro's top players. You see his left arm get pinned underneath. If you're just joining us, Ralph Carr had to be taken to the hospital with that. Again, we wish him and his recovery the best. I know it's probably going to really, really hurt this team, not only on the field, but also off it as well. This guy was a real leader of the team. You know, you're getting excited for the playoffs. Everything's coming around. To lose a guy like that really hurts. We just hope that everything's going to be okay and they're able to get him back on the field.
Kevin? Yeah, he's talking. 3-0.
Carr's a junior, so you know it's not like this is his senior season and he can miss his football playing days. Could be over. This could at least happen next year. If not, maybe he can get back this year.
Breaker's going to throw the ball long. Has Simpkins wide open, touchdown! What a huge breakdown defensively, as I think Glassboro may be surprised a little bit as
touchdown.
Schalick lined up. I was shocked that they didn't at least try a pooch kick. Breaker throws it up, finds Simpkins in stride, and what a backbreaker that is. No pun intended.
Still turned out pretty good. Not good for the Glassboro Bulldogs, though. And that's just mental lapse.
Well, I tell you what.
You can't afford that. You know, Stephen Davis got to be hanging his head as he let the guy get behind him. And huge play. We've seen this over the last couple of years of touchdowns right before halftime that can decide a game or just completely destroy a team's confidence. That one could be it there for Glassboro. You have to absolutely regain some momentum now with 2:51 left because it is on the other sideline with Schalick.
Next time I go to Atlantic City, I'm calling up Seth Brown because he likes to gamble. And a little bit of luck, but you got to give him credit here. Works out.
Well, this is the knockout blow. This is where you're not expecting. You get a right to the chin that catches you off guard. That time they go up top, able to find Jeremy Simpkins. Simpkins, a guy who's a pretty good athlete, not only a football player, but also a pretty good basketball player. And that one stung for the Bulldogs. They're going to need to try to get back some of that momentum that it looked like they had regained after a nice defensive stand.
I would have never thought that after that timeout that they would have gone for it on 4th down. I mean, 4th down and about 20 to 22 yards.
Well, when you have so much confidence in your defense,
agreed,
and you have a 7-0 lead, you can gamble a little bit more, and that's what they did. This coaching staff, like I was talking about before, this coaching staff has done all the right things over the last few years, and again, doing the right thing there. I mean, they gamble a little bit, they catch Glassboro off guard, but it was the right time to do that.
You're right. That touchdown is a byproduct of their defense. Davis receives the football, and he is hog-tied. A big hit laid out as Davis smoked by Carlton Oak Thomas, and he laid out the wood.
Did he? Carlton Oak Thomas, somewhere out there. You can see Davis coming down. He's thinking about cutting back upfield, and bang! He's taken down by Oak Thomas. Love the nickname, huh? They had Mark Oak Tree Brown down there in Salem County doing some boxing. But Oak Thomas now making a little bit of a name for himself with that hit.
Yeah, you don't want to be named Bamboo. Oak is good. Fumble, and Haggerty falls on it.
It almost started pouring right there.
Yeah.
They lose that fumble, they're in big trouble. You were ready to say something.
Nothing critical, but 2:30 left. Glassboro really needs to regroup. They don't necessarily have to score here, Shawn, but they need to build on something, have some positive into the locker room.
I agree with you. You're looking at really hanging your heads as you go to that locker room down 14-0 after what just transpired, giving up that touchdown.
So Haggerty with the quick drop, slant, hits a man still on his feet, and this will be a big first down. Nice catch by Uriah Akinmoju, I should say.
Moju me? Watch this guy. Think he's not a big timer? Going across the middle, absorbing the hit, getting spun around. And then watch here. Watch the presence of reaching this ball out, thinking, all right, I need to make sure I get past that first down mark. He was already past it, but still, good effort by Akinmoju.
Well, you got to believe if that shoestring tackle is not made, he may be to the house. Davis strings it outside. Davis, and he'll have enough for the first down. So some positives here for Glassboro. Yep. Moving the football with the clock also moving. 1:37 remaining in this first half. And Glassboro now trying to bounce back from that shocking touchdown pass.
This is a young team, and I think you made a great point. You want, if not a score, you just want to be able to say, listen, we can move the ball on this defense. We were able to do it at the end of the second quarter. Let's try and build off of that.
Haggerty rolls. Haggerty. And now he'll keep Haggerty still on his feet. Still on his feet. Haggerty dancing. Look at Haggerty go. Still going forward. Haggerty, what a great individual effort. And he'll have more than enough for the first down. And 1:15 left. And it's plays like that that really lift this Glassboro team. That's why Herb Nealio loves Tim Haggerty.
Well, you can see that's a senior just denying. Right there, he's denying that his team's going to quit, denying that he's going to go down, and just trying to make a play.
And I think Seth Brown and the Schalick Cougars just did not like what they had seen on the field here, so they called timeout, not Glassboro.
Well, watch this one. This is a good decision. Everyone's covered downfield. He's looking down there. There is no one open. But he gives a little bit of a fake, little stutter, looking around, slipping through there. Nice little stiff arm, gets through, spins, does a cartwheel, a somersault, flips backwards, and is able to pick up the first down. Just a terrific athletic attempt. Be able to pick up the first down by Tim Haggerty.
So Glassboro here starting to get it together offensively. And you gotta feel like if they can score here, that coming out, not only will they have tremendous confidence, but they'll have the momentum and maybe have Schalick kind of scratching their head a little.
Well, you score on this team. Remember, they've only given up one score. So if you're able to put the ball in the end zone, that certainly gets them thinking maybe we're not invincible.
Haggerty again rolls, getting pressure. Haggerty as the pocket collapses and has the ball stripped. The ball is stripped, heading in the other direction, and finally brought down. Mike DeFalco. Haggerty tried to hold on to the ball, had it behind his back. DeFalco took it, and again, a big swing momentum-wise.
Watch Haggerty here, and this is where he's trying to do too much. If you have a good play, you got to let that one go. Think about what you're doing the next time. Everything was breaking down. We're coming right behind. Look at DeFalco, just go for the football. Didn't go for the tackle whatsoever. This is a kid that I don't think they knew too much about Schalick coming into the season. They didn't expect too much from this kid. He has turned into one outstanding player for them at outside linebacker, has made huge plays throughout the season. You could add that one to the list.
Well, we talked before about how difficult it was losing in the South Jersey Group 1 playoffs to Paulsboro. They had the ball stripped there, and that's how it ended. So a little deja vu, and Simpkins drops the pass. So second down here for the Cougars.
Incomplete.
Simpkins, that ball was dropped by Simpkins. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Schalick still has the ball, plenty of time with 54 seconds left. Try and mount a drive. Looked like he was trying to turn and run with it.
Yeah, I don't think he had possession there. Obviously, Glassboro hoping to pick that up and turn it right around. But Schalick really trying to put the final nail in the coffin here. Not afraid of taking a few risks. Breaker, shotgun. Sets up, throws, has a man, and just missing Badger. That could have gone all the way. But again, impressive arm strength by Breaker, just missing the outstretched arms of Andrew Badger.
Timothy Whitaker, I think, looking for the tackle there. He might have been better suited to look for the ball. The safety coming through. 5'7", 148, playing defensive back for Glassboro. That time, maybe if he was playing a little bit more aggressive as a safety and trying to go for the football, he might have had a chance. But he doesn't want to let up a big play that time, making sure that at least Schalick wasn't going to get 6. Maybe even slowed up the receiver a little bit on the play. Excuse me, he's a corner, actually.
Third down, Breaker again with pressure. Breaker throws across the middle, picked off. Picked off by Glassboro's Roderick Tunstall. So with 40 seconds remaining, Glassboro will take over. And Haggerty will likely go back to the air for the Bulldogs.
40 seconds left. He might be able to get out on Mojo using that big frame of his. Be able to shake off a defender, so I wouldn't be afraid. You have nothing to lose here with 40 seconds left. You're down already by 2 scores. You're going to need to try and again regain a little bit of momentum.
And 10 Bulldogs. Schalick. Timeout. Their second.
We'll step away. 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Schalick on top by 14.
This update from across Bow Boulevard.
Welcome back to Glassboro High School. Haggerty back to pass, throws it long, looking and missing his receiver, Uriah Okunmoju. Good coverage by the Cougars.
Well, Schalick being smart again, calling timeout, wants to talk to the defense, as Coach Seth Brown, and making sure that they don't let anybody get behind them. And that time, Okunmoju, surprisingly, with one-on-one coverage to the outside. A little surprised they didn't have somebody going deep with them and doubling Okunmoju up. Not surprised, I think I'm shocked, actually. Especially if they're calling the timeout. You're thinking, all right, well, you know, the one thing they're going to do is make sure they get it to the big play guy.
Down to 33 seconds remaining. Haggerty again in the pocket, has time, throws across the middle and behind his receiver. Oh, that's one of those cases where I think Haggerty did the right thing. He threw it a little bit behind Okunmoju to allow him some yaks, yards after the catch.
There wasn't too many people around him, though. I think if he would have put the ball in the numbers, he had a little bit of room there to run. He was wide open over the middle of the field.
Wow.
And I do agree with you. Sometimes you want to purposefully maybe throw the ball a little bit behind the guy, but there wasn't too many people surrounding him. And Haggerty does have a pretty good live arm where he can get the ball out. You saw it that time. Thrown on a string, but ball just a little bit behind Okunmoju.
Glassboro calling timeout, 27.7 seconds remaining. They trail 14-0. Wouldn't be surprised if they go for it on 4th down here if they're unable to pick up the 1st down. Yesterday in Group 1, a bit of an upset as Woodbury fell to Lindenwold, and Group 1 really wide open.
Isn't it? Colonial Conference is kind of goofy. Only constant right there is West Deptford.
So Haggerty will work out of the eye. And he'll set up the screen pass, gets flushed, throws it, and Okunmoju will bring up 4th down, I think.
Yeah, they'll just go to the locker room now.
Schalick looks content to allow the clock to tick inside of 5 seconds, and that's the way things will end here in the 1st half. So a half of frustration for the Bulldogs. A key injury and a key surprise play perhaps by Schalick, really the difference. The Cougars head to the locker room on top by 2 touchdowns.
There you see Tiffany Graves, who was the homecoming queen, joined by her 2 brothers. She was thrilled to death. She was one of the coolest out there. She was kind of smooth. Definitely. Had Philip Graves, I know one of her brothers who played football recently for the Bulldogs. I believe he might have graduated last year or the year before, I think.
Glassboro will kick things off here in the 2nd half, and Shamar Graves picking it up. Or excuse me, Shamar Brown. I got Graves on my mind. Shamar Brown returning the football, and Glassboro will need to come out here. And I think they need to come out in the 2nd half and make a decisive stand to start things.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they got to come out, and maybe a 3-and-out would put some confidence back in. This was the big play. This put them up 14-0, 4th down, and a busload of yards, and they able to go up top there and get the touchdown.
If you look at that replay, Stephen Davis is watching the football as opposed to his man, and that's, you know, obviously he loses a few steps there, and that's the difference. So, you know, maybe a little learning opportunity for some of our
There's a face mask there. That's going to tack on 15 yards.
Well,
apparently not going to get a 3-and-out. They're going to get an immediate 15-yard penalty on the first play of the 2nd half.
Not the start that Glassboro needs here.
Homecoming, a big day for some of the
15
young
yards.
girls here. We
First down.
focus on football on Channel 5 and a lot of lot of sport activities, but them girls were excited about being part of the homecoming committee. I know I saw Maggie Farad down there, who was part of Channel 5's The Standout last year.
First down.
Channel 5 showing that on the local cable channel. Standout going to be coming real soon, Rob.
Looking forward to it.
November 16th, I believe, is the date we've set for the opening show.
Handoff, and Badger picks up about 3 or 4. Have you finished taping, or are you still?
We're still in the midst. There's whatever 5 people left.
So 5 remaining.
5 remaining, 5 or 6.
And then after each event, one's eliminated, correct?
One's eliminated, yep. So we're in the middle of taping, finishing off the show.
Second down for the Bulldogs as Schalick already across midfield, moving the football with 11:05 and counting. Sweep here for Breaker, and Breaker runs it out of bounds, more than enough for the first down. And just here early, you don't sense a fire in Glassboro.
No, and that kind of collapsed there at the end of the half. And you can see here they got Timmy Breaker coming out here on the side, looking for some running room. And you're right, there's no one's flying to the football, making plays behind the line of scrimmage. You could hear even some of the hometown crowd telling them to go full steam, don't leave anything on the field. This is Schalick, this is the Classic Division.
And right now, that Schalick line just getting a big push as Kyle Cullen easily picking up 3 or 4 yards before any contact.
Anderson with the Bulldog tackle.
Giving Badger a little bit of a break here, coming out with a couple of different ball carriers is Schalick, and they like to spread it around and keep guys fresh there. Get some fresh legs carrying the football. And you're able to do that with a 14-point lead.
Second down. About 6. Breaker behind his brother. The pitch to Badger. He has a lead block and a whole lot of room. We're going to have a penalty, though. And that's usually where holding is. So both teams really concerned about the number of mistakes, and there have been plenty today. Of course, nothing can compare to last week's Paulsboro game where we saw a record number of penalties.
I think that was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Time flies, as they say.
Down. Go home on the offense. Still second down.
See here, I mean, Badgers, I know there's a hold in this, but look at those big guys out front. I think that's Quinn there. I think they might actually got a hold on him, but you know, they're still getting a lot of push up front, and you need penetration. Somebody's going to need to get behind that line of scrimmage, tackle one of these guys for a loss, and force Breaker to throw instead of allowing him the opportunity to throw when he has a better play where it might be second short or third and short.
Some personnel issues on the field, and Schalick calls timeout.
How about the Pioneers last night against Williamstown? This is a team almost, it seems like, of destiny right now, where they come back, got the ball with 1:19 remaining at their own 19-yard line, down by 4 to Williamstown on the road, a young team. They had come back the week before to win against Salem. With 1:19, it takes them a minute to stretch the field, get the touchdown. They take the lead and win and remain undefeated.
Yeah, the Clearview Pioneers, of course, led by head coach Dan Pidcock, have had just a remarkable season. This was a team that, frankly, I don't think people were expecting to be 500. And not only have they surpassed their expected win total, they have the lead in that very tough Tri-County Conference. And that speaks to the effort on the part of the athletes of Clearview, and also, of course, the Clearview coaching staff, who have done a tremendous job. And
we'll see them next week.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have them next week here on Channel 5 against Gloucester Catholic.
Gloucester Catholic going to be licking his chops this week, giving a chance to give Clearview its first loss. And one of the areas maybe that you look at Clearview being susceptible is against the pass. Ray McKinney and company loves to come out firing. So it should be an exciting game. We're going to see some balls put through the air. This time a straight handoff up the middle of the field. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5. How about Cherry Hill East?
Cherry Hill East
knocking off teams over the last 2 years. Washington Township last year. This time they take out Cherokee.
Cherokee, you know, was the prohibitive favorite to win Group 4, and now next week that brings up a real good matchup against Washington Township, because you had to believe that Cherokee would be pumped for that game even if they had beaten Cherry Hill East. Now even more so. So that'll be quite a showdown in that tough Olympic conference. Cherry Hill East gave Washington Township a scare earlier in the year, and of course they lost to Township. They've also lost to Eastern this year.
A statement game by the Minutemen last night, 35-0 over Pennsauken. Statement also by this Glassboro defense, holding up on 3rd down, gang tackling the football, now forcing Schalick to consider either going for it here. Glassboro's already learned its lesson. But yeah, Washington Township 35-0 over Pennsauken. Good win for them.
Well, Pennsauken, they have really fallen apart in the last couple of weeks. Last week, they lost to Cherry Hill West, a team that has really struggled and has not looked very good at all. And Pennsauken, with Reggie Lawrence at the helm, had a remarkable season last year, but this year things kind of coming unglued. But next week, Pennsauken will take on an Eastern team that had an easy victory against Rancocas Valley. In the Colonial Conference, a bit of a surprise. Collingswood defeating Haddonfield. Haddonfield had started out
crucial mistake
4-0 and falling now 2 straight weeks.
Dead ball.
So a big penalty here gives just Schalick a first down, and again, you just don't sense the focus or the adrenaline rush needed to start things in this second half for the Bulldogs.
Well, Herb Nealio came in and was saying, you know, that they need to limit the mistakes, don't make the mistakes, concentrate on what you're doing. And they've had problems with that through the first few games of the season, but it's really coming back to bite them here. There's a couple of penalties that extended the drives for Schalick, especially deep in their own end. Can't do that.
And now Glassboro defense stepping up, knocking Badger for a loss, maybe losing 2 yards. And, you know, Schalick has really owned the football for the greater part of this afternoon game.
Well, they were, and that time, you know, you're looking for Demetrius Gadsden, some of these guys who are some of the bigger, you know, the better players on your team to make plays. That time, Gadsden getting a little bit of push upfield, blows the play up. And Glassboro forcing Schalick into a 2nd and long. And this is those plays that you need, especially when you're deep in your own end. You're going to need to throw some guys back for a loss.
Brown off the pitch, and he's in trouble. Brown just doing what he can to get back to the line of scrimmage. Good pressure.
Yeah, it was Gadsden again.
By Gadsden and the Bulldogs. And credit Brown for getting back to the line of scrimmage.
But still, Gadsden's going to blow that play up. He gets the penetration, gets to the outside, forces Brown back into the teeth of the defense. And that's what you want to do if you're a defensive end. Anytime you want to see them guys go upfield, you get the guards pulling, you want to try to get into that backfield and disrupt the play, force Brown back into the defense where you have some of your linebackers going east to west and able to get him down for, looks like probably no gain, or if not even another yard loss on that play.
Gadsden, and a tremendous student being looked at by Harvard for football. Breaker across the middle, and it was the hit early. I tell you what, I think Glassboro may have gotten away with one there.
I agree with you. I think he was a little bit early on the play, and they're going to get away with one, but I'm sure they'll be happy to take it here. Breaker's going to drop back. We talk about efficient, him playing this year as an efficient quarterback. Watch him here come flying up to the scrimmage. Nice tight spiral.
So again, it looks like Glassboro gets away with one there, and it's 4th down and 12 yards to go. So a break for the Bulldogs, just what they needed. And of course, it was this type of situation that Schalick cashed in on, and I think you'll see Glassboro play a little bit softer coverage towards the end zone. Breaker with time, throws it, has a man, and it's caught. The question is, does he have the first down? I do not know.
Complete.
It looks like a good spot and a first down, yes, for the Cougars.
First down, Schalick.
Right at the line, knew exactly how many yards he needed to get. Simpkins comes back, and how about Breaker? Right before he's absorbing a hit by, it looked like Donald Davis, who came flying in. He was either Davis or Gene Anderson. Came in and got into the ribs of Breaker. He unleashes a terrific pass.
All right, bring it in, bring it up.
I'll tell you what, Breaker has really shown that, Haggerty may be the name, but Breaker is going to be right behind him. He has put up some good numbers this year, but he is a good-looking quarterback. Glassboro especially be looking at him like, wow, she didn't transfer. I really wish he didn't transfer.
First down and 10. Cullen and Badger. It's Badger. Badger stopped again. But that first down, another backbreaker.
Yep, it's
You
gonna
know,
take
if you're
time.
Herb Nealio and the Bulldogs, you just look at fourth down, and that's usually not a down you have to even take into consideration, particularly given the fact that the one was about 4th and 23 and the other one 4th and 12.
Yeah, so just right, some backbreakers. I mean, that's exactly what they are. And you're talking about 5:45 left in the third. Schalick is now doing this against the wind. So, I mean, this is where Glassboro wants to try to move the offense because they're going to have the wind at their backs here in the third quarter. They're going to lose that in the fourth quarter, and we're halfway through this third.
Cullen and Badger. Breaker, play action, throws it up, has Simpkins, and Simpkins unable to come down with it. Simpkins may have jumped a little early.
Yeah, ball's thrown a little over his head. I don't think he would have been able to get to it, but they're not afraid to throw the ball even into the wind with Breaker. He has shown extreme poise as a junior. We've already talked about his arm strength. Continues to move this offense and has made some big plays even on fourth down.
Third down and 9. And we've seen that Schalick not afraid to go for things on fourth down. They're going to have to hustle, or else they're going to have a long third down here as the play clock is winding down. I formation, Breaker with Cullen and Badger, 2 receivers split right. They'll pitch left, Badger with some blockers in front. Badger around the corner, and he'll be shy of the first down.
Badger on the carry. Forced out of bounds by number 20.
But he still makes, he's going to make it fourth and very short. Badger was able to kind of turn that corner, some guards pulling out there. I believe you had Colin Dwyer, who we've mentioned a couple times, just a junior. And this isn't a team with a ton of seniors either, Shaw. They have a lot of good players coming back. Snodgrass, we mentioned one of the seniors up front. Matt Brown, a senior on that offensive line. Dwyer, number 71. The junior, Zach Ortega, who is a senior. So they've got some experience up front.
Fourth down, play action, Breaker throws, has a man, it's Brown. Brown, first down, touchdown! Shamar Brown, touchdown. Schalick on top, 20-0.
They have pushed all the right buttons today, Schalick. Breaker has looked very impressive at quarterback, and he has a ton of weapons. I think this Glassboro team shocked in the beginning of the game at how well they were able to move the ball against them. Now everything unraveling.
Well, it'll be Wilson to attempt the point after.
You're going to find some parking spots in the parking lot here because there's some people leaving now.
They may be heading across the street to watch the Rowan game. It's their homecoming as well. 21-0 now, Schalick with 5:11 left in the third quarter, and I don't think anybody in the crowd expected a 3-touchdown deficit here in the third quarter.
Speaking of which, we have our own Chelsea Peasy, who's homecoming queen across the street. She does the show Your Town with me. She's been on Channel 5. So congratulations to Chelsea, homecoming queen over at Rowan this year. Look at this play by Brown. Some athletic ability, going to get airborne right there. Go over top. The opposing quarterback, Timmy Haggerty, into the end zone, catapulting himself for another 6. And Schalick with a commanding 21-0 lead. You seen everything unravel when Ralph Carr went down. A lot of emotion, I'm sure, came out of this team. A deflating moment when you have one of your leaders go down with an apparent arm injury, and we're not sure exactly the extent of that injury, but nonetheless, just deflating for this Glassboro Bulldog team. You have the play at the end of the half to put them up by 14 on a 4th and 20, whatever it was at that point. Able to get the touchdown up and over the Glassboro defense. And now to come out against the wind and drive the ball right through the Glassboro defense and another score, Robin, I would say is pretty much the ceiling touchdown. Glassboro would have to make a couple of tremendous plays, not only offensively, but now also on defense.
Glassboro fielding the kick at the 18-yard line, and Stephen Davis returns it to about the 30. First down for the Bulldogs with 5:03 left in this third quarter. And we're just trying to get back to hitting all cylinders at this point. At this point, you just got to take it one drive at a time.
This is shocking. I mean, I think anybody who has looked at football and high school football would think this is within a touchdown, these two teams competing, but Schalick has dominated play here today.
I have been very impressed with Breaker. Strong arm, good athlete, well composed. They're going to be a force in the Group 1 playoffs. Here's Davis. Davis will pick up more than enough for the first down.
Stephen Davis on the carry.
You know, of course, one of the things that you mentioned, Shawn, is that Carr, their leading ball carrier, was hurt. And I think in large part that hurt them on both ends of the ball, but I think in many ways it probably hurt them emotionally.
Yeah, when you get a leader to go down in the game, and this is a guy that's firing your team up before the game, you know, you're just watching him on the field before the game, getting excited about playing this game, and you see him not only go down, but have, you know, a pretty devastating, look like arm injury. We're not sure exactly what happened, but
well, from what we heard, he was yelling down on the sideline, right. And that he was in so much pain, and obviously, you know, that shakes you up as a teammate.
Right. I mean, this is a guy you've been spending all summer with. You know, so I'm sure a lot of these guys are friends with him, have been friends with him all through midget football and in elementary school. And you see one of your friends go down and is screaming in pain, that absolutely is going to mentally get to you. In the back of your mind, you're wondering, you know, it's a football game, but you're wondering how your friend is. You feel bad for him. You're thinking, all right, I mean, not only are we losing one of our leaders now for this game, we might be losing them for the season. We're a team that could contend for a Group 1 in the Group 1 tournament, and here we're losing one of our top guys, our top ball carrier.
See Haggerty kind of holding his hand. I'm not sure. He may have hit his hand on a Schalick helmet with the follow-through. That is very painful, and you've seen some quarterbacks lose some time as a result of that. So a key third down, 10 to go. Haggerty in the shotgun. Has time and throws, picked up and almost picked off. Shamar Brown tipped it up, and Glassboro forced to punt it away.
Well, they got some good players over there. We talked to Shawn Collins. Let's first take a look at the Schalick over the last 10 matchups between these two teams, and you're going to see a lot of pretty close games over the last couple of years. There was a couple of lopsided Glassboro victories. You could see how this Glassboro or Schalick team has come on. In 1997, you see that 22-20 score. But Glassboro dominated for 4 or 5 years. Over the last 4, we've seen Schalick not only slice that gap, but cut it immensely. Look at 2003, 2002 to get back-to-back wins. 2004 with Paul Gauls behind him 14-0. Last year with Rhodes out of his mind running 14-7. Glassboro comes back and wins that game. But now over the last 4 out of 5 years, we've seen it kind of turn a little bit in Schalick's favor.
Well, you mentioned Paul Gauls. You know, in many ways, you feel like the Schalick athletic program has turned around, and it's in large part due to that one player.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing what he really did for the Schalick program.
Him, and you had Shawn Collins then coming in, establishing a basketball program that is second to none in South Jersey. This guy is a guy who schedules all the big teams, not afraid to play anybody. One of the great young coaches, I believe, in basketball. You have Josh Hedgeman, who came in, a relative unknown. No one really expected too much from him. Came in and turned this program completely around. And he said, you know, talking with Shawn Collins about what Josh Hedgeman did, he said the athletes were there. You just had to kind of let them know that they could win these games, that they were good enough to beat Glassboro and compete with any team in Group 1. And you almost kind of believe him, because what is the other explanation of all of a sudden Schalick going from 56-0, losing to Glassboro every year, to all of a sudden winning those games against a tremendous team? You don't have an influx of just a ton of great athletes. Obviously, Paul Gauze made this Schalick program believe that it was good enough to compete. And that almost starts getting everything rolling. You know, you think, all right, well, they had the athletes. Well, then you start having guys who start believing in themselves. They start going in the locker room a little bit more. They start practicing a little bit harder. They believe in the coach a little bit more. And thus you have a program now, Schalick, one of the tops in its group, at least, in South Jersey. So many championships over the years. They were good in cross country, track, some of the different sports, but now the mainstream sports, basketball and football, they have now become a power.
Well, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. As a coach, I firmly believe that confidence plays such a huge role in a team's success. And obviously, Schalick has every reason to be confident over the past couple of years, and it's shown in the stat sheet. And now some late hits and some frustration here as Glassboro a late hit, and this will give Schalick another first down.
But you're right, Paul Gauze, he certainly could be responsible for the turnaround of the Schalick program. Not
They
only
may change the name of that high school
to Paulie Gauze. Well,
Late hit.
we put out the Today's Sunbeam, also the Gloucester County Times and Today's Sunbeam, and
First
it was
down.
almost the Gauze beam or something. This is a guy who was always in the headlines, and well deserved. You see there the stiff arm by Badger, and he's just going to go out of bounds before he does. Going to be a little bit of a late hit. You're right, you got to watch your frustrations here, because you know, even though you're down 3 scores, you still want to represent your school well. You want to lose with class. And you always think, hey, listen, we got another crack at these guys. We get in the Group 1 playoffs. We could play them again.
1st and 10, Brown on the carry, dancing through the midfield.
Ball's out.
Fumbled, and who has it?
Everything is bounced Schalick's way. They did get the ball back.
They continue to control the football, and they continue to control the clock.
Going to run it here this time with Shamar Brown, a junior, dancing through the defense. It's the ball stripped right there. Looked like that might have been Gene Anderson, a junior for Glassboro, 6'3", 250, number 5'5", coming in, knocking that ball loose. Glassboro again, it just seems like they're a step slow today with everything. You know, mentally, physically, just not all there.
High formation for Breaker and the Cougars, and a mix-up as Breaker will be forced to keep, and he's cut down. So he was looking west, and his back was going the opposite way.
East,
now,
that would be east,
yes,
west.
Thank you. The now I lost my train of thought. I think I was going east, and then I went west. I don't know what happened.
Well, the program's now going south, so you got to pick it back up.
Oh boy, I tell you.
Ready?
I don't know.
You have no idea, do you?
I don't.
We'll get back to the basics. What down and distance do we have?
They
right
say that's the first thing to go. 3rd down and long. I'll just stick to the basics. 3rd down and long here. Call it 9.
There you go. Picking it back up.
Thank God you're here, Shawn. What would I do without you? Breaker, back to pass, getting pressure. Breaker, and he'll be sacked. Brought down by Damian Green.
I think right now, and you know, people probably, you know, there's a lot of people that might be leaving or, you know, kind of joking around up here a little bit more because the game's 21-0, and we're losing the 3rd quarter here. But I think this quarter is going to be important for Herb Nealio, just to see how his team responds, that they have a little fight left in them, because you don't want them, you know, losing out in the 4th quarter, lose a little bit more of what they've done throughout the season, and then your season starts going downhill, especially with a big loss to Carr.
That actually reminded me of what I wanted to say, but we'll go to break right now. We're done with 3 quarters, and it's Schalick on top, 21-0. Welcome back. 4th quarter action. Schalick on top, 21-0. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary. Key Tri-County matchup, really, to decide things for the conference and also for Group 1. So Schalick will punt it away, and it's a good one. This will roll all the way back inside the 5-yard line. So an excellent punt, and the beat goes on for the Bulldogs and the Cougars.
I think you mentioned about going down the casinos with Shawn or Seth Brown.
I did.
We may want to go tonight.
Yeah, you're
everything is happening right for Schalick tonight. I mean, every bounce, every little thing has happened in their favor. And, Glassboro has to be scratching their head like thinking, what did we do wrong?
And we don't want to take anything away from what Schalick's accomplished here. I mean, obviously they've done a good job, but, certainly, many coaches will tell you make your breaks, and Schalick has certainly had the breaks today. They've played well.
Yeah.
And,
not only have they been the more luckier team with all the bounces going the way, but also they've dominated play by being the more physical team, the team that looked like they had a better game plan coming in, just being able to run the ball effectively, use that strong offensive line. And, no fault to Herb Nealio. It's just, what are you going to do? You can't, unless you can suit up some alumni, some of the Hall of Famers that they inducted today, you're kind of stuck with who you have out there. And I really believe that Carr injury really stung Glassboro's emotionally and just, hurt them not only on the field. This guy's their leading running back. And their linebacker. That's a tough loss.
And that was one of the points, that was the point that I wanted to make earlier that I had.
You kind of lost it.
Yes. As a coach, sometimes you do whatever you can to get your team up, and for some reason, sometimes they're just not there. They're just, the emotion isn't there. For whatever reason, the planets aren't aligned on that day, and that's why the old adage, any given Sunday.
Right, and you know what, you see some, and I'm not saying it is in this case, but sometimes you say, oh, well, it looked like coach didn't have this team ready or didn't know what was. Well, sometimes you think you got it. You think you have the game plan ready to go. You think your team's ready to go. You think everything is good and ready to go for the game, and your plan's ready, and all of a sudden it doesn't work for you, and you're sitting there wondering, I don't know what happened today. I don't know exactly what went wrong. Of course, you could look at the tape and find some reasons why on the field that it went wrong, and some of the execution, the X's and O's.
Haggerty back to pass, getting pressure with time now. Out of the pocket, fakes the throw, across the 10, and falls down at the 14.
Tim Haggerty with the keeper.
I'd say the difference in this game is the offensive line for Schalick. Slowly but surely, they created opportunities, and Breaker and company took advantage. Just too many weapons in that Schalick backfield, and Breaker was nothing short of spectacular. He was very efficient today.
Timeout called on the field by Glassboro. 9:50 remaining in this 4th quarter, and a decision here. Do they go for it on 4th down, trailing by 21-0, deep in their own end? You really have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, and here's why I go for it is, just by saying in the 4th quarter you want to see how your team responds and that they're not giving up on you. I think here you don't give up on them, and you go for it on 4th down. You tell them, say, listen, I believe you guys can make this 1st down, and we can keep a drive going, and who knows, maybe we get a couple of scores. As much as you want to see your team not quit, I think it would be a good decision for Herb Nealio to go for it here. But you're right, man. Schalick over the last few years, they've really turned this thing around. They are one of the top teams, certainly in Group 1 in Classic Division. But you can argue about just the program itself and just how efficient they've become.
Of course, for years they were a soccer juggernaut, and now Paul Gauze has changed things for the football and basketball programs, and Gauze is playing collegiately at Seton Hall University. Despite the fact many people suggested that maybe had a brighter future as a football player. Haggerty. Inside screen, and that will be more than enough.
Yeah, I think that's a gregreat call by Herb Nealio. Establish confidence in your team, establish confidence in your quarterback to say, listen, we're going to you, and Akin Mojo to get it done here on 4th down. And you're right, you have nothing to lose. You're down by 21 points. You might as well, try to find a spark. There's still 9:40 left in this game. I know we've been talking like this game's over. I guess that's a mistake on us, but it doesn't look good for Glassboro, but it's certainly not over with plenty of time left.
And again, Haggerty, quick out to Akin Mojo. Now Akin Mojo
Haggerty's pass to Akin Mojo complete.
picks up about 3 or 4.
Brought down by Mike DeFalco and
Well,
Jeremy
of course, you
Simpkins.
mentioned certainly plenty of time here, but the clock continues to tick. 9:10 left. Glassboro will have to strike relatively quickly, you would think.
And what hurts is, still, again, we've been talking about this all day, a little bit of a breeze going right into the faces of the Bulldogs.
High formation for Haggerty. Getting flushed out of the pocket. He'll roll against his throwing arm, throws it up, and in and out of the hands of Timothy
Haggerty's
Whitaker.
pass to Whitaker flies incomplete.
Sun coming in and out today. I mentioned it was about 43 degrees this morning at around 4 o'clock. You're expecting maybe a cold, windy day. It hasn't been too bad. Just a little bit of a breeze. Played somewhat of a factor in the game, deciding after the coin toss to Fern and trying to get that win was Glassboro. It's something that the coach talked about, is they'd like to put the defense on the field. Schalick took that opening drive to midfield and turned the field position battle over in their favor.
Well, the sun comes out here, and Glassboro hoped that that would be a good omen. Schalick calls timeout to regroup. We'll step away. 8:53 remain. 4th quarter. Schalick on top. 21-0. Welcome back. Glassboro with the football across the middle. Haggerty has a man held on to by Whitaker. A nice catch by Tim Whitaker.
Nice job by Whitaker. Good hands, being able to snag that ball. Nice touch by the quarterback. Like you said that time, Rob, that's one of the spots right there. It was kind of throwing the ball a little bit behind him where he can just come back, use his body to shield off the defender, make the catch. A nice athletic play by Whitaker.
Haggerty again, quick drop, getting flushed out. He fumbles the football. It's loose, and Schalick is on it. Jeremy Reese.
Bulldogs fumble, recovered by 56, Jeremy Reese.
Shamar Brown, who made the play, is injured right now. Watch this play. Not only does he make the hit, loose, the football comes loose, but he holds on to Haggerty so that his mates can come and clean up on the play. But a terrific play by Brown, not only to make the sack, to force the ball loose, but also to hold on to Haggerty so his teammates can jump on the football and give Schalick possession.
That's kind of the way things have gone today for Glassboro. As soon as it looks like they got things rolling,
one step
it comes
forward
to an abrupt halt.
Disappointing loss last night for Woodbury against Lindenwold, losing 28-6. That Colonial Conference, it's hard to figure out. We talked about that earlier. You have Gateway, who did beat Lindenwold. You have Woodbury, who doesn't beat Lindenwold. You have Woodbury, who beats Haddonfield, loses to Paulsboro. Paulsboro loses to Haddonfield. What's it all mean?
It's very confusing.
No idea. That's what's going to make it fun the last couple of weeks of the season. You're not too sure who's going to knock off who and where the power points and who's seated where. We expected this type of year in football.
Breaker up top, throwing deep, caught, touchdown! Simpkins off of the long bomb, and that's the exclamation point to this one. I tell you what, I am very impressed with this Schalick offense. Badger, a hard-nosed runner. Breaker, great arm, great composure, and Simpkins, two great hands. 27-0. Schalick really pouring it on here, and Wilson to attempt the point after.
It's like they have that killer instinct also, Rob, where they not only rough you up a little bit, but they're going to deliver the knockout blow in the fourth quarter to just give any false hope of trying to come back into the game. A couple of plays and they're up by 4 scores now. You're right, this team in every phase of the game is going to be very tough to beat in Group 1. If Paulsbury and Woodbury and some of the other Group 1 schools are looking on, they have to be impressed with everything they see here from Schalick. Ball going to be thrown up by Breaker, and it's just telling his guys, go up and get it. Simpkins coming down with it. You have him and Gates on the outside, or him and Cates, I'm sorry, on the outside. You have Badger and Brown running the football. Breaker involved in the offense, and then Timmy Breaker, and then you have Justin Breaker, who's just the leader of this offense, and like you say, very impressive. And remember, this defense still has only given up 8 points.
I was about to say, remember that those points came off of a turnover. You know, Sean Collins, and speaking to him, he said, everybody focuses on our offense, but it's our defense that's really the strength of this team.
Watch the short kick.
Again, Wilson to kick it away. Back to receive for Glassboro will be Stephen Davis, along with Uriah Akinmoju. Akinmoju blocking for Davis. And maybe back to the 20-yard line.
The only thing that wasn't impressive by Schalick today, and this wasn't me saying it, just the Woodbury band, is the Schalick band. They were the ones that didn't get the respect early on from Woodbury, or I'm sorry, Glassboro.
I was impressed.
I was too. The Glassboro, they didn't give them the rah-rah. It didn't seem like it was all there.
Are you trying to blame this on the Glassboro band? That
I'm just saying, hey, listen,
that Schalick got even more fired up after that?
They could have been. Could have been. They were just so upset over that. They didn't give them the respect they deserve in the beginning of the game.
1st and 10 for Haggerty and the Bulldogs. Looking to get on the scoreboard and thrown away. 2nd down.
I was impressed. I mean, I heard little Beatles in there. They're mixing it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
2nd and 10.
But you know, after they got done, Glassboro band was like, yeah, rah, Schalick. That's the rivalry now that's been established here. These are 2 good teams, and when these 2 teams now get together, it seems like the class of the Classic Division. Salem has maybe taken a step backward over the last couple of years, although they're playing, you know, pretty well. They just don't have the consistency. Pennsgrove, who has made tremendous strides under Kemp Carr, maybe just not quite there.
Pennsgrove, of course, the only team this season to score against the Cougars. It was a flea flicker, and Sean Collins had said it was a defensive breakdown. The kid from Pennsgrove made a nice play and ended up in a score. And here's Davis. They'll string it outside, and Simpkins showing some good closing speed. I'll tell you what, Jeremy Simpkins has had himself quite a game. Listed at 6'2", 160. He looks a lot bigger than 160, but illustrating some of that speed. And he's just another good-looking player. He's a senior.
And you know what? I know Herb Neely is looking at the scoreboard and saying 29, but the one thing you got to say is this team isn't quitting. It's not they're just totally giving up. Schalick has made plays. You know, the strip of the football last was just Schalick making a play on the football. It wasn't necessarily his team quitting on him. Here you see Davis with a nice run.
Get up, baby.
They're running hard out there. They're trying to block, trying to make a play, try to get into the end zone. I think just something like that you can kind of build on for the next week and the weeks coming up, especially if you meet this team in the playoffs, Rob. I mean, if you're able to score on them, it's a big difference, I believe, than saying, we weren't able to get anything off of this team. That puts pressure on your defense in the playoffs, thinking you have to shut a team out.
That's a question I always ask the coaches, is scoring first important? And Herb Neely said, well, it'd be nice to get up on top early, but I really felt that Glassboro needed to score first. You know, I think that given the stats between the two teams, that Schalick was probably the favorite here, and Glassboro needed to kind of boost their confidence, and that didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah. Moju for a first down.
I'm going to swing the ball out here. A little zip on the ball, get it out there. Got a couple blockers in front of you, knocking Moju. Getting downfield, picking up some extra yards and a first down.
I formation again, Haggerty. Quick out, finds his receiver, and Akinmoju, and they continue to go back to the well. .6:39 left, fourth quarter. Schalick coming into this game undefeated, outscoring their opponents 188-8. You can now increase that total to 216-8. That's heady stuff. First down for James and the Bulldogs.
They're not doing a nice job of sharing.
No, they don't play well with others.
No, they don't.
So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. They continue to move now here late in the fourth quarter. Haggerty with one setback, trips right. Flushed out of the pocket, and again it's Akinmoju. And he's cut down. That'll result in a loss. Second down and long. Inside of 6 minutes as the clock continues to move. Haggerty drops, has a man open, and it's caught. Touchdown! What a catch by Uriah Akinmoju. The defensive back slipped, but credit Akinmoju with a fine catch and Haggerty with a great throw, and Glassboro on the scoreboard.
Yeah, what a terrific catch and concentration by Akinmoju to stay in bounds, get his feet down, and still come up with that football. That time, looking into the sun. Timmy Haggerty just throwing it up, telling his receiver to go and get it.
So Derek Stockel will attempt the point after. His kick is no good. Stockel had been 19 of 20 in extra points. Excuse me, Stockel was 19 of 20. Coming into today.
Haggerty just going to throw it up. Watch Akinmoju's concentration here. Going toward the pylon. He's got to make sure he stays in bounds. They're able to curl in into that pylon, in for the score. Nice job by Akinmoju and Haggerty on that play to hook up. And like we had said, that I think it was important for them to score. I really do believe that. I think it's important for them to get on the board, to know that they can score against this team if they're able to meet them again in the playoffs. That, you know, you can get some points on them. Of course, Schalick will claim it was mop-up time. A receiver fell. Still pump up their team as far as giving them confidence and saying that we can't be beat. Probably expect an onside kick here, right?
Absolutely. 5:31 left.
Again, your team's not quitting on you. You don't want to quit on your team. You want to still say, listen, let's go for an onside kick, see what we can get done.
Glassboro coming into today had not scored less than 23 points. That coming against Salem in the second week. And they had yielded at most 19 against Gloucester. That was last week. So things decidedly different here. Onside kick, and this is fielded easily by Schalick.
It was an ideal hop right into the arms of Simpkins. He's going to swallow that one up, go to the ground. Now Schalick will just try and work on the clock.
That's kind of the way things have gone for Glassboro. Not only did the Schalick Cougars get a big hop, but it goes to probably the surest handed receiver. Next week, Glassboro will take on Pittman in a game that we think Glassboro will be able to make amends with the Pittman squad that has really struggled.
And they got a good one after that, Pennsgrove. I mean, that Pennsgrove team is showing they didn't play decent defense against Schalick.
And now Badger breaking tackles, and Badger to the 10. Badger cut down from behind. A good hustle play. It's a fumble. And who has the football? It is Glassboro. Haggerty recovers the fumble, and Davis on the recovery. That just goes to show you what a little hustle does.
Yeah, I mean, that's just impressive. You're getting beat 28 to 6. Not much hope of winning this game, and then you have Davis come from behind, and that is an unbelievable play by Davis to come back and not only cut him down before the end zone, but strip the football.
Well, you see, I mean, that was obviously the mindset of Davis, to catch him and also to strip him. He did. Haggerty fell on it, and Glassboro perhaps with a little bit of life, but they're going to have to go a long way here. Down by 22, deep in their own end. Haggerty will give himself some breathing room.
And it's just a matter of pride right now, and I don't know if, I mean, they obviously think they can come back, but it's just a matter of pride, not allowing him to go in for that 5th score. And Davis, that's something you go over to him as a coach, and you just congratulate him for playing his tail off through all 4 quarters.
Second down for the Bulldogs. About 6 to go. Ball at the 5-yard line. Haggerty again quickly out to Akinmoju. Akinmoju down the sideline, knocked out by Badger.
They keep going to Akinmoju. Now maybe you want to try to use him as a decoy. Maybe get it back coming out the other side.
Ball's around the 15-yard line.
Flying up the sideline, maybe you're able to catch Schalick. You have one-on-one coverage with James Wilburn Jr., sophomore.
Haggerty again throws it deep, looking into double coverage, and it is knocked down. But that illustrates some of the arm strength from little Tim Haggerty. We've talked about what a tremendous competitor he is. Haggerty, a 3-year starter for this Bulldogs team, a senior, listed at 5'7". That's probably somewhat generous, but throwing that ball into a heavy wind and right on the money. Good defense by the Cougars.
Tim looks like he put on a little weight, too.
He did.
Looks like his arms bulked up, a little bit puffed up.
Yep. 2nd and 10. Haggerty getting flushed out of the pocket once again. Haggerty will look, he'll throw, and has a man. And Haggerty trying to engineer another drive as he finds Wilburn.
James Wilburn complete. First down, Bulldogs.
A lot of fight still left in this Bulldog team.
That's why
I'm telling you, you get another touchdown here. I know it doesn't matter in this game, but I really believe it matters a great deal to Coach Neilio and this team, if the way he prepares for Schalick next time, if they're able to meet them in the playoffs.
Haggerty under center, 4:08 left here, trying to drive. This drive started at the 1-yard line. Haggerty pump fakes. Now flushed out of the pocket, throws, has a man, overthrown, and it's picked off. Picked off by Simpkins, who's had himself one heck of an afternoon. And Simpkins will be finally cut down inside of Glassboro territory.
Intercepted.
We'll step away, 3:51 left. Schalick on top, 28-6.
Their third and final timeout.
Welcome back to Glassboro High School. They are not leaving. They are getting together for the timeout that has just been called as we came back from break.
I think that was the Schalick. The guys up in the press box, the Schalick coaching staff. Coming onto the field, going over to maybe celebrate a little bit here with their team. 28-6, turnover there, and he had a man. The ball just floated a little bit on Haggerty, and Simpkins able to come up with the interception, seal the win for Schalick. They're going to remain undefeated. You know, here they'll just be running the football, try to run out the clock.
And a new quarterback in the game for the Cougars. That is Danny Thomas. He is just a freshman. He is not the father of Marlo.
No, I hope not. He's a freshman.
So Schalick
playing quarterback for the Cougars.
giving some of the second stringers and the JV players an opportunity to compete here. Terry Boone, the ball carrier. A second down and long for the Cougars as we approach the 3-minute mark left in this football game. Taj Gaines, the ball carrier. Picks up about 4. So a third down, about 5 to go.
Hey!
We mentioned before that Glassboro will take on Pittman next week. Pittman was a 61-0 loser to this Schalick team. Schalick will improve to 6-0, and they will take on Pennsville, who is typically not one of the stronger teams in this Tri-County Conference. After Pennsville, Salem, and then Cumberland. So Salem gave Cumberland, or excuse me, Clearview some fits, so that may be the one game that, or the one team that may give Schalick a scare prior to the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, you have Deptford playing Glassboro, and it's kind of neat to see Glassboro, a classic division team, a Group 1 team going out of the division to play a Group 3 school like, or a Group 2 school like Deptford, or a Group 3 school, whatever year you're looking at. But you wouldn't mind seeing Schalick, I think, play maybe a Group 3 school going out of the division and playing one of the bigger schools. Clearview now plays Salem. I think it'd be a nice hookup if you had Clearview playing Schalick or something like that, just to see how. And nothing against Classic Division, but it is, you know, filled with Group 1 small schools. And this program is a cut above the rest in the Classic Division in Group 1. Wouldn't mind see them play against some of the bigger schools and see how they would match up against.
Penalty here will go against the Cougars. Delay of game, I believe. It is 1:19 remaining.
Fourth down.
Fourth down now for the Schalick Cougars.
After assessing the 5-yard penalty, it will be 4th down, 6 to go.
Shawn, you'll be happy to know that the Rowan University game will end about exactly the same time as this one. So
nice.
Traffic will be a pleasure for you.
I always get a nice police escort out of town, so won't matter much to me. Especially when I wear enemy colors.
Do you have enemy colors on?
Not today.
No. So you didn't plan ahead, or?
No. No, that'll set my streak to infinity. 'Cause I never plan ahead.
I find that.
Keep my streak.
After assessing the penalty, it will
You're
be
looking
fourth
for me to
down,
argue with
11
you.
No, I'm not. Not real big in preparing.
No.
Wouldn't be a good coach.
No.
Say, what are we going to do? I don't know. Let's see what happens, kids. Just go out there. We'll start with first down. We'll work on it from there.
Have him draw the plays in the dirt. Schalick will punt it away. And Glassboro to return and cut down with little gain is Harris. .68 seconds remain in this one. 28-6. It's been all Schalick.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. You have Clearview, Gloucester Catholic, Cherokee, Washington Township. I think there's a couple other big games in the Royal Division.
Now playing quarterback
Of course,
for the Bulldogs,
Delsey
number 16.
lost
Brandon
yesterday up
Stevens.
at
Jackson.
Jackson. And Delsey having a tough year.
They may play Kingsway next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it'll be a good game. Williamstown plays Deptford.
J.D. Gaines.
That game has been a good one over the last couple of years. Nice rivalry there.
Much more parity this year throughout South Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Classic Division, maybe, sticking to the Glassboro-Schalick rivalry is really coming down to who wins that division. But you have, the Royal Division's up in the air. You have Clearview sitting on top. No one expected them to be there. You have the Colonial Division. Everyone's beating each other up there. Everyone thought Shawn would be in the Group 3 championship that kind of wrote them in there. They won't even make the playoffs. Cherokee loses to Cherry Hill East. What next, Rob? What next?
Well, next it's going to be Gloucester Catholic against Clearview here on Channel 5 because this one is a final. The Schalick Cougars defeat Glassboro 28-6, and they do so in decisive fashion. And Shawn, again, we've talked at length about Schalick and how successful they've been this year and how good they look today. For Glassboro, they're going to have to regroup.
Yeah, and I think you could take a little bit out of the ending of this game and the fact that your team didn't give up, didn't quit on you, and you didn't quit on them, and you just go back in the locker room and say, listen, guys, we got each other. It's going to be us against the world from here on out, and that may work to their advantage when you get guys believing in each other like Glassboro is going to be doing the next couple of weeks, saying let's get this corrected, go into the playoffs, and see if we can get back at our rival with Schalick.
Well, this Glassboro team, always well coached by Herb Nealio.
Yes, they are.
Don't discount them before it's all said and done. Your final score here from Glassboro High School. Schalick defeating the Bulldogs 28-6. For my partner, Shawn Leary, my director, Stan Ritter, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.